So let's review the problems you were asked to do for this particular exit ticket. Here you were asked to solve for the value of the variables in each right triangle, and there was two of them you were given. In both cases, you were asked to find an x and a y. Now, the way I usually do it is that I'll draw the three right triangles that are pictured in the picture, but I try to draw them so they're oriented all the same way. So when I do this, notice how I mark the angles up here in the original triangle with single arcs and double arcs, and I try to orient them the same way. So this first triangle you see on the left is the complete triangle, the two parts together. So x is the one leg. The hypotenuse is a combination of 20 units. I don't know the third side. If need be necessary, I could possibly find it if I needed to. The second triangle is actually the triangle that's to the right that has the leg of 14 and a leg of measurement y. I just oriented it the same way. And the third triangle is the little triangle you have in the upper left, again oriented in the same general direction, so I could tell which sides correspond to each other, which makes it easier to set up my ratios. We're looking for x and y here, so for me to try to find either of them, I'm going to probably need to have triangles that contain x in both of them. So like for instance, for finding x, I'm going to use the first and the third triangle. And if I set that up, I can state that x over 20 is equal to 6 over x, which gives me x squared equaling 120. X is the square root of 120, which when you simplify completely becomes 2 times the square root of 30. For y's, I actually use the second and third one and set up the ratio y over 6 equals 14 over y. I cross multiply to get y squared equals 84. Which means y would be the square root of 84, which when you simplify the radical completely and write it in simplest radical form, you would get 2 times the square root of 21. A similar notion I did here. Again, I'm marking this up so that I can orient the triangles the same way. So the original one, the first one I draw is kind of like what the first one is. It has the hypotenuse that's 8 units, a leg that's x. The other leg we don't know what it is. The second triangle you see is the one that's on the left-hand side, the small one. It has a leg of 2 and y. I just oriented those angles to be in the same position. Same thing with the last one. It's the one that's on the right-hand side. I have the x, y, and 6 in their respective places. And again, I'm going to set up ratios. So if I'm finding x, I'm going to be using the first and third triangles to set up a ratio. So x over 6 equals, well, let's see. Yeah, x over 8, I went from this the third triangle to the first triangle. So x over 8 equals 6 over x. Cross multiply, square root, I get x equals 4 times the square root of 3. For the second ratio, I used the second and third triangles, going from third to second. So I did 6 over y equals y over 2. Did the same kind of thing, and got y equals 2 times the square root of 3. So those are the answers to those questions. If you have any further questions, please feel free to contact me or your geometry teacher. But until I see you in a live lesson, or if you're one of my students I talk to on the phone, I'll see you around. Have a good day, everybody.